Hey, what's up, guys? Tony here, and I've got a special guest.
This is LordDsplae up in this bitch, people. Hello.
What's up? Okay, so we are doing a post-game commentary that I had suggested as a rivalry commentary. We're talking about obviously football right now with the Raiders and the Chargers. So let me get your impressions of the game.
Man. Dude, it's the impressions of the game, man, is basically it was nuts. It's always such a tense game between any AFC West rivals, dude. And when it comes to the San Diego Chargers and the Oakland Raiders, it doesn't get any better. And I honestly knew that even going into the second half with like a 14-point lead.
It was pretch bad.
Yeah, it was 14-point lead going into the second half. The San Diego Chargers had like 60-something yards total offense, which was ridiculous. But I knew, being a Raider fan, dude, diehard, I knew that the second half was either going to be one of those that the Raiders always pull to where they lose it in the end, or it was going to be a normal AFC West match where it just came down to the wire, dude. And of course, it ended up being just as stressful as I thought it was going to be. So it was an awesome game, dude. I mean, who could have asked for more on a Thursday night between those two teams?
Yeah, definitely.
It was tense, at the end there. So I enjoyed it, and obviously, since I'm the Raider fan here, of course, I'm enjoying it a little more than you are. It's, it was a good night, man. I mean, it was cool because we got to see a lot of rookies, a lot of people that are taking the place of injured players on both teams. And they actually did really well. So I saw an impressive amount of plays on both sides of the field from both teams, from considerably young players.
Yeah, because both of our rookie wide receivers stepped it up. Your guy, was it Moore, right?
Moore is, dude. That guy's a beast, dude. He's actually been doing pretty well all season. And I mean, he's quick. I think that's the thing about the Raiders too, is they've always focused on speed. So, when it comes to the Raiders receivers, when they get open, it's just a matter of them being able to have the hands, because they're burners, dude. And he's definitely got the speed, and that guy Moore has been proving in multiple games that he's got the hands as well. And I'm actually excited about that, to have that guy on my team.
That's what they were saying on the commentary, was that guy Moore, he's just one or two steps faster than Quentin Jammer on that first touchdown. That fingered catch he made is just amazing. When I saw him reach for it, I was like, oh, incomplete pass. And then he comes down with it. I'm like, whoa, what the hell?
You're like, what the hell just happened?
But, yeah.
And that's actually and from what's the guy on the Chargers, the one that caught both of those bombs, the touchdowns?
Yeah, Brown, dude.
Yeah. I mean, that guy, double coverage. I mean, I would have when Rivers threw that ball, that deep, those deep touchdowns, dude. I mean, I obviously was like, this is no way, dude. Especially with the coverage that they had on him, and that guy just nabbed it. And I mean, dude, that was amazing, man. Those amazing catches. And especially after Phillip Rivers was, doing so bad, dude, and having, some great passes like that, it was surprising.
Having nice receivers, and that's what I think most people don't seem to get, is that San Diego, we've done a good job about picking up good wide receivers. And the guys who didn't play tonight, like Malcolm Floyd. I mean, we had Vincent Jackson, but I think he was passed to a few times. He wasn't even a big factor in the game. Of course, there's Gates. Everybody knows about Gates. And he too was not really a big factor up until maybe, I don't know, the fourth quarter. He had a couple of decent catches. He had one, I think it was in the second quarter.
Yeah, and that surprises me, because that guy, he's a badass, dude. He's, in my opinion, if not the greatest or the best tight end in the league right now, he's at least in the top three.
Yeah, and well, here's what I'm gonna try to come from an objective view, and I'm gonna leave my disdain for the Raiders at the door. But the last 2 years, I have to say that I've openly admired the Raiders, because they've put together teams that, for a long time I didn't think they're all that great of a team. We discussed before we started the commentary about, the whole retirement home thing. And
their hair matching their helmets, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I'm constantly surprised by how good this team is. And I think I said it in a commentary a couple weeks back about when they picked up Carson Palmer. I didn't think I thought it was a great decision, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be one of those immediate impacts. And here it is. What he's been on the team. This is week 4 for him, as far as like plus a bye week. 3 week plus bye week.
4 week plus, yeah, exactly.
So he's had 4 weeks to learn the offense, and everyone is making that joke that he got up off the couch. I'm pretty sure his ass was training and getting ready to get back in the NFL. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how on the couch he was.
Actually, he was training in Southern California, and he was actually training with. I think it was Hushmanzada, the receiver that they brought over as well. He was training with him. Mm-hmm. So that's, I think, one of the main reasons why they utilized being able to pick up that receiver was because, of course, the Carson being familiar with him in a way.
Well, he did a great job.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it honestly, I think I even told you when we acquired Palmer that a lot of people were really excited about it. Being Raider fans and stuff like that, because honestly, he's been a great quarterback in the past. But a lot of people, I don't think, realize that you can't just take a quarterback, even if it was Tom Brady, and throw him on a new team and expect to see great things right away.
Yeah.
You're being thrown into a whole new organization. You're working with people that you've never worked with before. So I honestly thought that our season was done, dude. But this game actually that just happened tonight is what brought my faith back. I can see Palmer actually finally. He looks like he's getting comfortable. He looks like he's actually capable of working with his team, and his team is actually having faith in him as well. So I think that things are going to actually go in the Raiders' way a little bit more than I thought they were in the first place after we lost Campbell.
Yeah, I agree. And everyone, and this is this as well as I do, being on the West Coast, that our two teams not really the top of the news board when it comes to like ESPN. It's going to be the Jets, it's going to be the Patriots, was the Colts, maybe Dallas, usually just to beat up on Tony Romo. But the thing is everyone thinks that the West Coast teams, especially you hear it all the time, the AFC West it's not a weak division. It's a weak division. It's not a strong division, and that it's up for the taking. That's what I constantly hear on the radio whenever I hear the Chargers postgame report. But I'll be honest. I mean, last week we played the Packers really close, and this week with the Raiders coming here and putting on a good show, I think the AFC West, at least with San Diego and Oakland, they're two potentially great teams that maybe one of the two teams are going to finally click somewhere.
Oh, definitely. I actually think I beg to differ with the people that say that the AFC West is a weak division. I actually think that we're one of the strongest divisions out there. I mean, every single year, that division has. I mean, and they even say it in the beginning of the season. The AFC West has one of the hardest schedules in the whole league.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to look at the people that we faced this year. Both San Diego and Raiders being in the AFC West, of course. The Patriots, the Packers, the Detroit Lions. I mean, these games that are coming up for the Raiders, dude. I mean, I'm actually still sitting here like, what the fuck is going to happen? But I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for the turnovers against the New England Patriots, dude, the Raiders' offense actually was almost, basically hand in hand. I mean, they had the same amount of offensive yards. Campbell looked just as good as Brady if it wasn't for the interceptions. And then, of course, you look at the way San Diego, held along with Green Bay, who is undefeated. So obviously, if we're capable of those teams leaving the stadium knowing that they played a game and not just laughing after beating the shit out of them, that we're capable of being some winning teams and possibly postseason teams.
Because dude, it would be nice. It would really be nice to have. I mean, I would definitely prefer it for San Diego personally, and you'd prefer it for Oakland, but Super Bowl champions on the West Coast and kind of have that. More than just a season, and even in, I don't know, straying a little bit from baseball. I mean, last year the Giants won the series. Well, I should say now 2 years ago, Giants won the series, and then they didn't even make the playoffs. So, it'd be nice to have dominant, consistent postseason teams, coming out of the West.
Regardless of who it was, exactly. Yeah. I mean, of course, we're always going to prefer our own team, but to have a championship team, a winning team in your state, regardless of who it is. It's nice to have that, dude, because you had like Massachusetts. They were title town for a minute. The Patriots had the Super Bowl one. The Red Sox had the pennant in the world for the World Series. And I mean, dude, you can see it when that happens, dude. It almost every single sports fan is just fanatic and they're happy, and there's celebrations going on in that city. It's awesome, and dude, if you can have that here, where you live, shit on the West Coast, dude, it's amazing. I miss that. I miss seeing a West Coast team always in the playoffs. It hasn't been that way for a while. I mean, of course, the Chargers have been doing very well these past years, making it to the postseason. But between where I live up in Northern California, we've had really nothing except for when the Giants won the World Series. So to see something, a good team come out of football in Northern California is something I'm definitely anxious for, man. It feels good to actually have that again.
Well, I don't. Do you have the Raiders schedule in front of you?
I do.
Do you? Okay, so when you're looking at this last part, because this is what week 10. This is week 10. So
yes.
You've got 6 more games left of the season.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. This has gone by fast.
Yeah. So what are you looking at for the rest of the season? So you're what 5-3 now.
5-4.
5-4. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So we're 4-5. You're 5-4. So what are you looking at? I mean, do you think you're going to finish on finish with a winning schedule?
You know what? Let me. Since we're going to get to that, let me break down the games really quick. I mean, super quick. Next game we have is against Kansas City. I think we're going to win that game. Denver is right after that. I think that we'll actually take that game as well. Then we go back to, or San Diego comes to Oakland, and that, dude, I don't know. That's one that I can't really call. We got Minnesota, we got Chicago, we got Miami, Green Bay, Detroit, Kansas City, and actually, we already played those 2 games. So I went through a few that we've already played. My phone's jacked up. I apologize. So Minnesota, Chicago, Miami, Green Bay, Detroit, Kansas City, and San Diego. I can honestly say that I think that we're going to be better than last year. I think we could possibly go 9-7. But I don't think that we are going to. I think that if we go to the playoffs, if the Raiders go to the postseason, it's going to be a wild card. And if we win our division, I think it's going to be neck and neck with San Diego, man. I mean, honestly, I think it's going to come down to the wire when it comes to who takes that division.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm looking at our schedule here. We got Chicago, Denver, Jacksonville, Buffalo, Baltimore, and Detroit, and then, of course, Oakland. And the games that I can kind of call already, I think we're going to be able to take down Chicago, Denver, Jacksonville. Buffalo's a big maybe. Baltimore is always a tough game. Detroit is another tough one. So already I've got, maybe possibly going 3-3 in those weeks. And, of course, you've got Oakland at the back end. So that could either be 4-3 or 3-4. If we go 3-4, that's a losing season for us.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
actually,
exactly.
we have to see. We're 4-5 right now. So yeah, we're gonna have to at least take 4 games.
And not only that, but
500.
Being 4-5, how many of those losses are division losses for you guys? So tonight's game is 1.
2, Kansas City and you guys.
So you guys have only lost 2 division games. That's one good thing for you guys because we've lost to Kansas City and Denver. So we've got 2 division losses as well. Even though we're only really a half a game ahead of the Chargers right now. The Raiders are, even though it's 5-4 and 4-5 because of those 2 division losses. It makes it, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's a half a game ahead.
Well, then we've got that game on Sunday. You got Denver at Kansas City, and I would actually, to be honest, like to see Denver beat Kansas City. That would help both of our teams out.
Oh yeah, with Kansas City actually taking 3rd place all of a sudden after what did they lose, like the first 4 games?
Yeah, it was
and
pretty
they got
gnarly.
like annihilated the first 2 games. They had over 80 points scored against them, man. So
it was bad.
It's surprise.
It is a big surprise. When we played, I was like, oh, we should just walk all over Kansas City. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I was thinking the same way, and they fucking annihilated us, dude.
That was Halloween too. That was a really intense game coming down to the wire, going to overtime like that, and just Phillip Rivers fumbling the ball on like the 8-yard line when all he had to do was take a knee and they fucked it up. All he had to do is take the knee, kick a field goal, walk out of there 23-20, fumbles the ball, goes overtime, loses. Oh my gosh.
You know what? Isn't that the story of our life when it comes to both of our teams? Is I think most of the games that we've lost this season are because of nothing but mistakes. And I consider penalty
Yeah.
mistakes as well. If
Oh
it wasn't for the
God,
mistakes
yes.
being made on our side of the ball, dude, it's not because offensively we're not playing well or defensively we're not playing well. It's because they can't really get their shit together when it needs to be done. They're making stupid mistakes.
Yeah, I'll say, and I noticed this today when our oh gosh, who was it? I can't remember off the top of my head. We had one of our guys called for a personal foul because he knocked one of your players' helmets off.
Yeah.
I look at that and I'm like, and this is just me being Charger fan. I'm like, that's Raiders football. Don't play like that. But the last 2 weeks we've had like 25 plus penalties. It's been ridiculous. We've had so many penalties. False starts and encroachment and just pass interference is a huge one right now. And
Oh yeah, dude.
I don't
I
know
think
about
that
you.
one hurts you the most.
I don't know about you, but I absolutely cannot stand the NFL right now. It is really the no fun league at times, and I guess maybe this could segue into another topic if you want. But the whole roughing the passer, unnecessary roughness, because I think it was last week we had a guy, one of our cornerbacks, Gregory, hit a guy who was making a catch, and they called unnecessary roughness because the rule states that while the receiver's trying to catch the ball, he's, quote, defenseless and you can't hit him. And I'm just like, are you serious? So you're going to let him catch the ball?
That's bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is they're taking things away from football that makes it football. It's football, dude. It's not golf.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a rough sport. It's why they wear the equipment that they wear, and they are taking away from it. It's ridiculous some of the rules that they're making and this whole like pass interference type shit. I mean, all because they're bumping off the line after I think 5 yards or 10 yards.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, dude. It's a physical sport, and I think they're taking that away from it as much as they can and still trying to allow it to be physical in a way. I don't know how to put it, but I get what you're saying, dude.
Yeah, because wasn't there tonight? There was I think it was an unnecessary roughness on Palmer, I think, or like a late hit or something. Anyways, just the whole like roughing the quarterback thing drives me nuts. I'm like, these guys, they are playing the game of football. They should be able to take a hit. I can see late hits are bad, but I've seen some roughing the passers that are like the guy comes in. His momentum is already going towards the quarterback. Quarterback throws the ball, and he's already flying through the air. He can't do anything to stop himself.
And the funny thing is you can see, on most of those, you see them like they'll throw their arms up like they're saying, "Hey, I'm avoiding this," and they'll barely bump them. And of course, at that momentum that they've already built up, if you tap the quarterback when he's standing still, you're gonna knock him over, and you can tell that he didn't get hurt. It wasn't like a hard hit, but they still throw a flag at that dude, and to me, that's definitely ridiculous. That's just it ruins the game. The referees can ruin things in every game. It's been a proven fact. I think referees probably do the most damage in the NFL when it comes to some of the mistakes being made and some of the plays being called and a lot of the outcomes of a game because of referees' decisions. I don't mean to take it back into the extreme past, and of course, being a Raider fan, I can honestly say the Snow Bowl between the Raiders and the Patriots, back in, what was it, 99, 2000, a couple years prior to the Raiders going to the Super Bowl, where, the tuck rule. And, what's funny is that has never been called ever again on anybody, and it was one of those severe mistakes where you honestly saw that Tom Brady fumbled. People will admit it, and the ones that don't admit it are Patriot fans, obviously. But, it's those type of calls that can really spoil a legitimate game, and I don't know, man. Like you said, it's just a no fun league sometimes.
At times, I know we were talking about the Ed Hockey League thing.